Bill Maher is still doing. He's still doing his show, right? The show still happens.
I heard the Club Random was winding down, but he's still got the basement, I guess.
Here's the Club Random. And I got to say, Bill Maher, kudos to him, because whatever supplements he's taking, it really, he looks younger. Like the color is coming back into his hair. It's really, he's keeping good care of himself.
98 all over again.
And here is Bill Maher talking about Zohran Mamdani.
It is a walking commercial for the Republican Party nationally.
The Republicans are going to.
When you let the Democrats socialists, and now they're actually calling themselves socialists, when you let them take over a major American city, this is what you get. The state-run grocery stores, which work so well in Cuba and the Soviet Union and Venezuela, just bad ideas.
Guys, I'm off the grid for August, but Bill Maher is getting close. I don't know if he'll get there, but he's getting closer to the promised land. Maybe, Bill, come on.
New York is New York.
Rubin.
It's definitely it's the media capital, the financial capital. It is a bellwether like no other city is in this country. So don't tell me that who the mayor of New York is doesn't matter.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Do you think, let's say,
I agree with Bill Maher here that the mayor of New York City is important. It's a very important city in the country of the United States. Now, can everything be replicated in every city? New York? No. New York City is very unique. It's a lot more diverse.
A lot more diverse than Beverly Hills.
Apparently it is, yes. We also know that in places like Kansas, you can find state-run grocery stores. And even in Live Free or Die, New Hampshire, right, is all state-run liquor stores.
In Minnesota, too, look up municipal liquor stores. There's like hundreds of them, and they all have like 4.7 out of 5 ratings on Google.
And these 5 grocery stores that Mamdani is going to do.
And it just says in neighborhoods that don't have grocery stores, because the people who would start a business to do them haven't done it in these neighborhoods.
The idea that Republicans are going to run against city-run grocery stores is fantastic. Now, I hope he can get them up and running by the election, because if he can, it's going to be a selling point. We're going to start to see these all around the country. I know Worcester was already looking into this. Go ahead.
Advocate for a second. Do you think, let's say, on the seize the means of production, do you think that the mayor, that one person, if he is a democratic socialist, do you think that he would have the power and influence to be able to usher in socialism?
He definitely has the power and influence to elect J.D. Vance or whoever is the Republican candidate next time. It is a walking commercial for the Republican Party nationally.
The Republicans are going to.
When you let the Democrats socialists, and now they're actually calling themselves socialists, when you let them take over a major American city, this is what you get. The state-run grocery stores, which work so well in Cuba and the Soviet Union and Venezuela, just bad ideas.
Actually, the grocery stores work fine. The problem was, of course, the boycotts and the blockades, so that they couldn't get food in there. Now, if New Jersey or Connecticut attempts to blockade food stuff like on 95 or via...
Mamdani takes over New York, we're going to turn it into Cuba.
Exactly.
And again, this ugly streak, streak of anti-Semitism.
Who's the most popular politician on the left?
AOC? I don't know.
One of, but who's Bernie? Bernie is Bernie.
Yeah.
Bernie is. I mean, he's not a capitalist.
No, he's not, and he's also not president.
He's not. But
never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
No, but he will, trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
They're going to feature people. They boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, but you don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
But they'll do it regardless. Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Gavin
God,
Newsom.
Yeah, but
they
I don't want to cast aspersions, but I think there's some better arguments that could be made in that context. One does not have to be defensive about Zohran Mamdani.
Or minimize him as he's not that big of a deal. Like, the Democrats should be so lucky.
Exactly. I mean,
The commercial that appeals to 75
at this
to
juncture,
80%.
like, I don't know what policies that Mamdani is pushing that you wouldn't necessarily see with like a Tim Walz in a purplish state with a blue hue.
Every attack is a campaign ad for Mamdani. Every single one of them.
It'll be an easy commercial for them. Yeah, like he appeals to 75% of people under 40. So yeah, okay, I hope it's a commercial. Also, Oregon, didn't know this. The liquor stores are run by state-appointed agents who act as independent contractors. Cuba.
It's Cuba. He's so stupid too. That's the
Autopilot.
amazing thing. It's complete autopilot. Well, I mean, literally, that's literally an argument that you would make if you were completely wasted. Which is why he does it so well. Speaking of wasted, I like how much time is Kennedy actually like spending in the office to be that tan all the time? Here is Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert Kennedy announcing that one of the maybe like single most important new technologies developed. I mean, by new, you know, it's been a couple of decades it's been around, but it's now been sort of like used in the context of vaccines. I know for a fact it's been studied and they're having mRNA technology is getting us close to curing several types of cancers, providing cures and as a prophylactic against certain cancers. And here he is announcing that the government is pulling $500 million worth of funding to that mRNA technology. It does not make up the whole of the investment that is within that world, but it's certainly going to seriously hurt, and it's also going to seriously hurt the non sort of like the research that appears to be less profitable. Let's put it that way. And he's doing it because he has a conspiracy in his head, theory in his head about the mRNA technology, warping our DNA or something.
Hi, it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. here, your HHS secretary. At HHS, we have a division called the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, or BARDA. BARDA drives some of our most advanced scientific research. It funds developments of vaccines, drugs, diagnostics, and other tools to fight emerging diseases and national health threats. Over the past few weeks, BARDA reviewed 22 mRNA vaccine development investments and began canceling them. Let me explain why. Most of these shots are for flu or COVID, but as the pandemic showed us, mRNA vaccines don't perform well against viruses that infect the upper respiratory tract. Here's the problem. mRNA only codes for a small part of the viral protein.
Pause it.
Mutation can make...
He's gonna talk bullshit here. So let's just let me refute this in real time with Mike Alsterholm, who we've had on this program from University of Minnesota. He's an expert on infectious diseases. quote, I don't think I've seen a more dangerous decision in public health in my 50 years in the business. Dr. Paul Offit, vaccine expert at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Shelving of the mRNA projects is as short-sighted as concerns about a bird flu pandemic continue to loom. It certainly saved millions of lives, referring to the mRNA vaccines. He's lying here. Kennedy is just lying. Now, he also, it's possible, is in a sort of consistent emotional or mental state where he's not capable of knowing that he's lying, but he's telling lies. Let's put it that way. Good.
That's because a single mutation can make mRNA vaccines ineffective. The same risk applies to flu. After reviewing the science and consulting top experts at NIH and FDA, HHS has determined that mRNA technology poses more risks than benefits for these respiratory viruses. That's why, after extensive review, BARDA has begun the process of terminating these 22 contracts, totaling just under $500 million. To replace the troubled mRNA programs, we're prioritizing the development of safer, broader vaccine strategies, like whole virus vaccines and novel platforms that don't collapse when viruses mutate. Let me be absolutely clear. HHS supports safe, effective vaccines for every American who wants
Pause it. Let me also be
That's why we're moving beyond the
absolutely
limit.
clear. Hold on. He had said on multiple occasions there's no such thing as a safe, effective vaccine. So he does support safe, effective vaccines on one hand. On the other hand, they don't exist. So if they did exist, he'd support them, but they don't exist.
It's like me saying I support Santa Claus.
His hands are tied.
Listen, I support Santa Claus as well. I am willing, and I'll say it right now, to provide monetary support to Santa Claus. Millions of dollars.
Says the general in the war on Christmas.
Exactly. But he doesn't exist. So what are you going to do? That's the shuffle here.
Doesn't announce a dollar figure for how much we're investing in all these safe, novel but not mRNA vaccines either.
Incidentally, the flu vaccine that we've been using for decades varies in effectiveness from year to year. 45 to 65% effective, and not mRNA. And in the case if there's and they have to guess what variant of the flu, which all sort of derive from like the so-called Spanish flu. That's the one we're dealing with now anyways. They have to guess every year which one is going to be the most prevalent and what the vaccine is going to be. I mean, so everything he's talking about is already sort of like built in to the dynamics of vaccines. The idea of like, it's not safe. There are adverse reactions. There's adverse reactions to everything. Literally every medicine. There is no medical procedure that's 100% safe. There's no medicine that's 100% safe. It's all a function of like your, of different individuals. But he is not, well, he's not a doctor. He's also not trained in public health. He's neither. He's everything but that. And public health requires making decisions as to what's going to be best for the public, which means, yes, there are individuals who are going to suffer from a vaccine. But the number of individuals who would suffer in the absence of that vaccine is higher, significantly higher. That's what public health policy does. And then the question is like, how do you mitigate the inevitable adverse reaction by a small percentage of the people. We have a vaccine court. We have continued research on how to deal with those adverse reactions. But it's like anything else. How do we decide that we're going to be driving 55 miles an hour as opposed to 105 miles an hour as opposed to 15 miles an hour? There's a balancing act, but it's public policy. We need to for the economy to work, we need to be able to get from point A to point B at a certain amount of time. That's going to mean X amount of road deaths. If the speed limit was 15 miles an hour, you could dramatically lower the amount of road deaths.
I mean,
the analogy only breaks down insofar as public health often needs to be imposed. Now, you could say, okay, well, so isn't a speed limit. We're imposing that on people. But nevertheless, public health is closer to essentially what a government needs to do to protect its people. It's also imposed upon us that we have a military that goes and does shit.
And the proof is in the pudding in the sense that it's 2025 and all of these supposedly side effects of the vaccine are really not apparent at all, especially when you consider the scale of the vaccination program and how widely we were vaccinating people. If these were dangerous vaccines, you would see a lot more, and there's just none of it. There's how much you would expect from like a vaccine that's safe for pretty much everybody with a limited number, like all interventions do, of side effects for certain people.
God or whatever exists up there help us in the event that we are in another pandemic or, within, I don't know, decades even at this point. All right, is there more to this? Let's
Wants them. That's why we're moving beyond the limitations of mRNA for respiratory viruses and investing in better solutions. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Incidentally, it's going to cost you more if you want a COVID booster. Nothing like taking away these programs without anything to replace it.
Something better is coming just around the corner.
Something better.
There'll be a pie in the sky when you die.
SunsetLake78.com. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.